Okay, we're on part 3 of our series on gossip. How not to gossip, just in case you're wondering. All right, so we've talked about, in part 1, we talked about the 3 people who are killed every time you gossip. In part 2, we talked about how you don't even have to say a word and you can still transgress this. And also, we spoke about the fact that if you're trying to help somebody, it's not gossip. But there are 3 important parameters when we're saying something if we're trying to help somebody. Parameter number 1. You go to the one and only person who you think can make a difference to speak to if I'm trying to help somebody. If somebody's having trouble in their marriage, this does not give me license to do a Gallup poll amongst our peers. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? No. You go to the one and only person who you think can make a difference. Parameter number 2, you say only what's necessary. I don't have to tell my husband all the juicy details I've heard about the breakdown of somebody's marriage. They're having trouble in their marriage. I think you can make a difference if you talk to him. Please go talk to him. The third parameter is you have to know the difference between fact and opinion. Everybody's got an opinion. True story. Years ago, my husband was learning with this guy in downtown Toronto, a groovy guy. He finally got to the point where he's like, okay, I'm done being a playboy. Rabbi, I want to get married. Find me a nice Jewish girl. So my husband runs home and tells me he's ready to get married. He wants a nice Jewish girl. You've set up people who've gotten married. Set him up. So he's my husband. So I'm like, okay, great. And I don't know about you, but I've been blessed with the opportunity to introduce people, to get married. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful mitzvah. And you feel like $1 million at their wedding. Okay. So I'm like, okay, great. So I call up and set him up with a great girl. Great girl. After the date, she calls me up. I go, how'd the date go? She goes, Lori, he was the date from hell. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. What happened? She tells me. I go to my husband. He goes, nonsense. He's a great guy. Set him up with somebody else. Okay, he's my husband. So I set him up with somebody else. A great girl. After the date, I promise you, she calls me up. I said, how did it go? She goes, Lori, he was the date from hell. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I go to tell my husband. He starts telling me to set him up again. I go, Yaakov, forget it. There's something wrong with this guy. 2 great girls use the same unusual expression about this guy. There's something wrong with this guy. I'm not setting him up. 6 months later, the guy gets engaged to a girl we know, a great girl. They're happily married to this very day. And I thank God every day that that girl didn't call me up and say, I'm being set up with a guy you know, tell me about him. I would have said, be careful. Everybody says he's the date from hell. Because somebody's date from hell is somebody else's Prince Charming. You can stop things before they start and destroy things once they've started by giving your opinion. I'm Lori, Almost Live.